Welcome into another Call of Duty video. Today, I want to talk about what the golden age of Call of Duty was. How long did it last? What made it the golden age? And were the games really that good? And most importantly, can the franchise ever return to this age? But before we dive in, if you like content like this, why not hit that like and subscribe button? That way, you'll be kept in the loop on all things Colorful Pooch. But without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's look at Call of Duty's whole franchise lifespan of 23 years and see if you can spot the golden age. Was it here? No. What about here? No, wrong again. The widely accepted golden age of Call of Duty spans from 2007 to 2012. It started with the OG Modern Warfare and ended with Black Ops 2. So the golden age lasted 6 years. 6 years out of Call of Duty's whole franchise lifespan of 23 years is deemed the golden age. 26% of Activision's series is considered peak Call of Duty, and the other 74% is either just average or straight up trash. It's also good to remember that the golden age encompasses the whole package: campaign, online multiplayer, and whatever third mode the developer provided at the time. So why were these games held to such high regard? Do they really stand the test of time, or is this just all nostalgia talking? The answer to these questions is twofold. First, let's just look at what the games offered and what the developers provided at the time. 2007, Modern Warfare. I did not play the online multiplayer for this game, but know that this game kicked off the multiplayer scene of Call of Duty. It introduced kill streaks, camo challenges, normal challenges, and prestige mode. This game is the base of every other Call of Duty multiplayer ever made since 2007. It was a gaming revolution and changed the DNA of every first-person shooter created since. The campaign was also really good and is iconic in its own right. This campaign showed that a video game developer could produce a movie-like experience that a player could play through instead of just watching. 2008, World at War. I did not play the online multiplayer of this game either, but heard it was just as good as Modern Warfare. Treyarch didn't change the formula much, but that was fine. They didn't need to. Why change what wasn't broken? The campaign was a gritty masterpiece that showed the horrors of World War II in both the Pacific theater and the European theater. If you haven't played this campaign and are a World War II buff, you need to check out this game's stat. And now for what really elevated World at War. Zombies. Everyone in the world heard about zombies, and everyone wanted to play it. What started as a throwaway side mode became one of Treyarch's reasons to buy their games. Zombies in 2008 was scary. The aura was there. The game mode was hard. You very rarely could go higher than 20 rounds unknocked. They also flushed out the zombies experience with their DLC seasons, and like Modern Warfare's multiplayer becoming the base for online multiplayer, World at War's Zombies mode became the base for all the other zombie experiences going forward. 2009, Modern Warfare 2. I mean, holy shit. This game is the whole package and is my favorite game of the series. The multiplayer experience is flushed out from Modern Warfare and amps everything up to an 11. You can now choose kill streaks, the Harrier, the AC-130, the Chopper Gunner, and the Nuke. All became iconic overnight, and all were fun as hell to play with. This game created the addicting nature of going for kill streaks. It created the game inside of the game. Modern Warfare and World at War had kill streaks, but nothing as game-breaking as Modern Warfare 2's kill streaks. You wanted to dominate with them, and the kill streaks were an appropriate amount of kills to get them. The maps are also held to high regard, and for good reason. The flow of the maps was brilliant, and Modern Warfare 3, 2023, did not do them justice. You had to be there to really experience how they played. Putting these maps into the new games is just a cheap imitation, and this comment applies to all remade maps that Activision pulls into their new games. The campaign is also iconic. People who didn't even play games knew about this game's most controversial mission: no Russian. The storytelling and narrative kept the player hooked throughout the campaign and made you want to see what happened next. Again, if you haven't played this campaign, I don't know what you're doing. If you thought Modern Warfare had an iconic campaign, well, this one blows that one out of the water and epitomizes how Infinity Ward creates the campaign mode. The third mode was not as revolutionary as Treyarch's Zombies mode, but it was still fun to play with a friend. This was the introduction of Spec Ops, and tasked you with trying to achieve 3 stars on each of their challenge maps. It was fun, and I even replayed some of them, like the Burger Town Survival Waves and the AC-130 Stealth Support Mission. 2010, Black Ops. Well, regarded highly by the community, in my eyes, this game is a step back from Modern Warfare 2, but is still a really solid game. The multiplayer is solid and introduces more balance compared to its predecessor. Treyarch opted for a cash system to unlock stuff, instead of straight up leveling, which was strange. This seemed like the change was made for change's sake, and was only really relevant in the notorious wager matches. As for the campaign, this one stands out as a fantastic critique of Vietnam and the Cold War. It is almost like a spy thriller, and you are again excited to see what happens in the story, as you care about the characters and narrative. And finally, Zombies. The mode is great again. You don't really need to change anything from what was established in World at War's Der Reich, and they didn't need to. The mode hits hard with some of my favorite Zombies maps: Call of the Dead and Moon. 2011, Modern Warfare 3. The multiplayer in this game is toned down from the highs of Modern Warfare 2, but is still a joy to play. Infinity Ward revamps the killstreak system and provides 3 ways to achieve their addictive killstreaks. You could run normal assault killstreaks, kills ticking up by 1 and resetting upon death. You could run support killstreaks, kills that keep ticking up and death does not reset progress. Or you could run the specialist killstreak, like the assault killstreak, but instead of earning killstreaks, you earn perks, and eventually you could obtain every perk if you get enough kills. They also changed Nuke from a killstreak reward to 30 consecutive non-killstreak kills, so you could achieve this with any killstreak package. This is a change that has stayed with the series going forward. As for the campaign, the story is cinematically wrapped up and puts the bow on the trilogy in an ultimately satisfying conclusion. It never reaches the heights of Modern Warfare 2's story, but that would have been impossible anyway. It doesn't do anything wrong and keeps you gripped through and through. For the third mode, Infinity Ward brings back Spec Ops, and it is good. While I didn't play this Spec Ops as much as Modern Warfare 2's, I did still go for 3-star rating on each of the levels. By now, everyone just wanted Zombies to be the third mode, and you felt kind of bad for Modern Warfare 3 not having it. 2012, Black Ops 2. And now, we have reached the end of the Golden Age. If Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer was the pinnacle of chaos, Black Ops 2's multiplayer was the pinnacle of balance. Treyarch perfected the gun balance, perk balance, and score streak balance. They changed kill streaks to score streaks to encourage players to actually play the game mode they were playing instead of just going for kills. A very smart move on their part. They also introduced the Pick 10 system that changed class setup for the better. It added a layer of complexity and customization to the system. If you don't want a secondary and aren't going to use it, why bring one? You could take it off and use that point elsewhere. The maps in this game are extremely well balanced and well made. Treyarch showed how their map philosophy of 3 lanes could work for every playstyle. This game caused that map philosophy to carry forward to the current age of Call of Duty. They also created the Diamond Camo reward for golding every other gun in the game. This is essentially the dark matter of this game and became a staple of the camo grind going forward. Now, let's switch to campaign. This campaign is an anomaly in the series, as instead of strictly scripted moments, the game would change based on what you did in the story. Sometimes Fareed would die, other times he wouldn't, It was your call. I loved this. This created replayability and encouraged you to see what would happen if you did one thing over the other. Alongside this, the story was intriguing and introduced the best villain of the franchise, Raul Menendez. This campaign is a must-play for any first-person shooter fan. It doesn't disappoint and is the best campaign Call of Duty has ever made. And lastly, zombies. While initially not what I wanted, Treyarch saved this game with the DLC seasons, a lot like they did with Black Ops 1. Again, the formula doesn't change much from World at War Zombies mode, and it still works fine. They introduce a couple more maps that become some of my favorite of the Zombies mode, Buried and Origins. So that's the list of every game and what was provided by the developer. As you can see, no mode was just a throwaway, and thought and care was put into each mode. The developers took risks and made meaningful changes to the multiplayer experience from game to game. No two games were exactly alike, and Infinity Ward and Treyarch's fingerprints felt distinct. They both seemed to be competing against one another to create the best Call of Duty year after year. Now, for the other factor in our twofold answer to our original question. The shift in gaming culture. Back in 2007, YouTube was in its infancy, having only been created in 2005. The internet was relatively new as well. Google was only 8 years old by that point. What I'm trying to say is, you were on your own. You couldn't go onto YouTube to look up weapon metas and strategies to maximize how you played the game. I mean, technically you could. There were YouTubers back then that probably did this, but it wasn't on the forefront of the people playing these games. They were just hopping on and having a good time. Sure, they would want to get a bunch of kills and dominate the lobby, but the first thought wasn't going to Google and searching for how to get better. You just kind of played the game and felt a gradual increase in skill. Also, if you were someone that played like a sweat back then, you were called out for it, either by your friends or by the people in the lobby. It wasn't looked upon fondly that you were taking a game so seriously. You were made fun of and told to touch grass. Interestingly enough, Twitch was not around during the golden age of Call of Duty. Twitch was officially launched in 2011 and was not initially a platform for gamers. That would take some time. But eventually its effects were felt on every competitive gaming scene. I'm not saying Twitch is the reason for the death of the golden age. The Call of Duty developers carry a lot of the blame too. But it did have an effect on how people played the game. By 2012, Black Ops 2's year, YouTube was established, and you could start looking for the best class setups and strategies. It didn't affect Black Ops 2 that much, since the game was just so damn balanced. But in the preceding years, the mentality of gamers changed. Twitch did become a bigger site, and you could make a good living by just playing video games on either Twitch or YouTube. This creates an interesting dynamic where everyone who is playing the game wants to become a Call of Duty streamer and to get paid to play their favorite game. But you have to be really good at the game to do that, so this creates a cycle. You're not good. Well, look up metas for the game on the internet. Now practice with those metas. Practice recoil patterns. Practice maximizing movement. Practice, practice, practice. You eventually do master these techniques and dominate the lobbies. If you are lucky enough, you become a Twitch streamer, and now people look at your gameplay as how to get better. Now someone else wants your streaming job, so they practice. They practice and practice and practice. But not everyone can be a streamer, and they don't make it. But they are still really, really good at the game. And this cycle repeats with gamers, but the flameout rate is a lot higher than people who make it as a Twitch streamer. Let's say one streamer per 100,000 gamers who are trying to make gaming a career. So now there are 100,000 well-trained Call of Duty gamers in the community. Can you see the problem here? In 2007 to 2012, gaming was just gaming. A fun hobby that you would get made fun of if you played more than 4 hours a day. But now people play all day, every day. And why not? There's money to be had. It is no longer frowned upon to be good at gaming. It's idolized. It's rewarded with views and subs. It's a cultural shift in gaming. Gaming is now a huge hobby compared to 2007 to 2012. With more people playing, more people will try to become Twitch streamers or YouTubers. They play the game like a professional athlete, when some of us are just trying to have a little bit of fun. It's so far removed from the golden age. I remember when tomahawk kills across the map were all the rage in Black Ops. You wanted to be that guy, not the dude that was head glitching and playing like his life depended on it. Now, it's reversed. Maximize kills, maximize movement, dominate, dominate, dominate. And then the developers have to respond to this as casuals are getting destroyed. They have to introduce skill-based matchmaking to protect those of us who don't play all day, every day. So how does this relate back to our original questions? Why were these games held to such high regard? Do they really stand the test of time? Or is this just all nostalgia talking? And here's your answers. They were held to such a high regard because they were well designed and players were just playing to have fun. Everyone was learning at their own pace, and very rarely did anyone go online to find metas and broken strategies. It was frowned upon to play like a jerk, and was sort of a gentleman's agreement not to play certain ways. Everyone complains that Modern Warfare 2 was plagued with danger close and one-man army noob tubers, but this was not true in my experience. It was a rare occurrence, as not that many people knew about this broken synergy in 2009. Everyone knows now, and if the game was released like that now, it would die. So do they stand the test of time? Yes and no. You had to have played the games back when they were released to have really experienced the golden age of Call of Duty. The environment was different. The developers were motivated. Gaming was different. They stand the test of time only if you experienced them back then. But if you played them today, no, they do not stand the test of time. Everyone plays to maximize everything these days. This pushes them to metas and broken things to win, no matter what. It doesn't matter if you play like an asshole. The gentleman's agreement of old is gone. It's cutthroat. You have all the data now. Min-max to your heart's content. Practice your recoil patterns too. God forbid you miss a shot in a video game. You too could become a streamer if you practice enough. And finally, will there ever be another golden age of Call of Duty? To put it bluntly, no. Online gaming in general will never be as simple and as fun as it was back in the late 2000s and early 2010s. The appeal of becoming a streamer is too alluring. Who wouldn't want to play video games for a living? This makes online gaming more like sports, and the developers have shifted focus to protect casual players from the hyper-competitive ones. There's a wide skill gap between someone that just boots the game up for an hour a day to someone that researches the metas, practices recoil patterns, and plays for 16 hours a day. The skill gap was not so extreme in the golden age, and playing like a sweat was frowned upon. I can't emphasize that last point enough. Playing video games and being good at them was not a positive trait during this time. The gentleman's agreement was to have fun and not to take things too seriously. Now that SBMM is implemented, you've separated the community and have to play against people just as good or better than you all the time. That's inherently not fun. And then you get people 2-boxing to get around the SBMM system. I mean, how f***ing low can you go? You practice and play the game all day, and now have to circumvent the system that was put into place to protect casuals from you, just so you can have a good time. How selfish. Everything about online multiplayer is selfish these days. I want to be a Twitch streamer, but I'm not good. So why not just cheat? Go for it. You might get caught, you might not. The reward is much higher than the risk. I don't like playing against people as good as me. Well, then just 2-box. Fantastic. You have ruined Call of Duty and online multiplayer in general. I can assure you, we will never return to a golden age of Call of Duty or online multiplayer in general. You had to have been there to experience it. And since time machines don't exist, you're shit out of luck.